Hello and welcome everyone. We're really excited to have everyone here today for our weekly deep dive series with OCI Product Management. I'm Mary Hess, a program manager with the OCI go-to-market team. And today I'm joined by Cameron, SVP of our storage and disaster recovery, along with Max and Mona, some of our OCI principal product managers. So today they'll show you how Oracle Cloud infrastructure storage options are evolving to provide high flexible performance at low cost, making it easier to migrate any enterprise workload to the cloud. So before I hand things over to Cameron, we'd like to run two quick polls. Let me run the first one. Our weekly sessions are designed with our users in mind. Each week, we put you in touch with the product managers behind recently launched services. Please take a moment to share your thoughts on what topics you'd like most on our weekly series. We also have two upcoming events planned. Thursday, May 6th, learn how Oracle's NoSQL databases are ideal for developers to run application development. And then Thursday, May 13th is one similar to this, where we're going to have our networking product managers describe the upcoming releases on the networking side. So I'll drop these links into the chat window for y'all. All right, and I'm going to end this poll here. And so I'm going to start the next poll. So our next poll is we're starting a limited availability access program for our new OCI services. I would like to extend an invite to our customers and partners. So if you're interested in participating in early previews, please select yes, and we'll follow up with further details. So I'll let that run for a few more seconds. All right, I'm going to end this poll right here. All righty, and that is all of my intro. So a quick reminder for today's session, we encourage you to use the Q&A window at the bottom of your screen. We'll also be recording today's presentation. So if your colleague was unable to make it, we will be posting the replay onto the community. All right, so let's get started. Over to you, Cameron.
All right, good morning. This is Cameron Bahar. I'm head of storage at OCI, and I have with me our top product managers, Max Varun and Mona Kabazan. So let's go into the agenda today. I'll cover the storage in the context of broad OCI initiatives. We'll talk about high performance storage, predictable low-cost storage, some disaster recovery and storage solutions, and a view into the future roadmap of OCI storage. So most enterprises have 5 classes of applications in their portfolios. Enterprise applications that rely on the relational database like supply chain management or ERP, or the traditional enterprise applications, these require low latency, high performance, and high resiliency because they're critical to your business operations. The technical computing applications like high performance computing or machine learning, they include engineering simulations that our car manufacturer customers use to predict how new models will perform in crashes, or machine learning algorithms that a bank uses for credit scoring. Legacy departmental applications that are straightforward to rewrite to current technology standards. Examples of those are reporting and analytics. And as you're familiar with web scale applications that support, millions of users like e-commerce and mobile services. And last but not least, cloud native applications that scale horizontally like social networks or video streaming. First-gen clouds were created to support a new market by producing scale-out solutions for the last 2 categories of applications that we show here. But they've struggled with enterprise applications. And let me explain why and how Oracle has approached the problem differently. Early hyperscale clouds were designed around an architecture of commodity servers connected by scale-out cloud management software. Applications scale, and you add resilience by adding more servers or containers and replicating data between those servers. This design choice resulted from early hyperscale clouds being built around existing scale systems, supporting Google Search, YouTube, Amazon's e-commerce platform, and Microsoft's Xbox Live and Skype platforms, all inheriting their scale, but also their design limitations on how applications work. While this approach was ideal for net new web scale, mobile, or departmental applications, most enterprise applications were designed in a much different way. These critical scale-up applications expect low latency and stateful connections to clustered databases, and which isn't really compatible with how first-generation clouds operate and scale. So few enterprises have been able to make a successful transition without significant effort in rewriting and refactoring their applications. First-generation cloud providers essentially required enterprises to undergo a revolution, doing full rewrites of these mission-critical applications. It sounds great until you calculate the cost and the time required to do this, right? So what about OCI? What was OCI's design primitives? OCI originally approached the cloud in a very similar traditional way with a VM-centric service that was undifferentiated. We realized we needed to take a very different approach with OCI because of our heritage with the type of enterprise applications that are hardest to move to the public cloud. So rather than rewriting all the apps in the enterprise, we could build a purpose-built cloud that was adaptive to all applications, bringing cloud scale and consumption models to every app. To deliver on this, we focused on building some core innovations that overcome the design limitations of existing public cloud providers, building performance and control systems that allow us to automate and deliver services at market-leading economics, including building many significant innovations, such as a cloud control computer that automates the quick and secure delivery of bare metal servers in moments. RDMA, remote directory memory access over converged Ethernet, enables high performance computing and exadata performance by scaling processor and memory interconnections directly. Non-blocking and segmented network that eliminates noisy neighbor traffic and ensures clean, consistent network performance for each and every customer. Infrastructure that can flex as the customer needs. And this is critical, right? Custom shapes from 1 to 64 cores with custom memory, adaptive block storage that actually shifts from economical to high IOPS as needed on demand, and flexible network and load balancing that adapts to demand. These innovations, among many others, helped us realize cloud scale with our own Oracle Fusion and NetSuite applications, which are stateful applications. We had to design OCI to support enterprise services natively, like our Exadata system, working as a true cloud platform, not something that's sitting next to the cloud as a co-located service that's managed differently, but native to OCI. The result of all this innovation is that all your applications can now easily move to the cloud as is, and you're able to migrate entire environments in weeks and not months. We've architected our entire cloud platform to meet our customers where they are now and let you adopt the cloud at your own pace and focus investments on building new value, not just moving workloads. So why are customers choosing OCI? Right? Customers move to OCI for many reasons, but we found some reasons to be common in between these cases. In order to help customers move any workload easily without re-architecting, we need to ensure we deliver a complete set of foundational services they need at low cost with predictable performance that enterprise workloads need, right? First-gen clouds targeted small, low-performance workloads and enabled fast shadow IT. It's easy to, and it's pretty cheap to spin up a small VM on first-gen clouds. It's not so cheap to spin up something with high predictable performance on first-gen clouds. We've designed for enterprise workloads from the beginning and continue that approach today. That means dependable performance services at low costs. Today, we're going to talk about how advancements in performance, cost management, and disaster recovery across the storage portfolio plays a critical role in this approach. So talking about storage, today, storage is foundational to the OCI strategy. Having the right high-performing storage option is key to making sure you can build the type of app you want in the cloud, whether that be block, file, or object, or if your migration needs a data transfer function. We follow the same strategy as OCI in delivering smart automated storage options at the best price performance. So the type of services that we offer in OCI cover the gamut. We start from low latency, high performance block storage solutions that are feature rich, to file storage solutions with POSIX and NAS-like capabilities, all the way to object stores and archive stores that give you the highest scale at the lowest cost. We focus on security and durability as primary objectives. We focus on elasticity so that you only pay for what you need and what you use. And we make sure that they're backed by enterprise-ready, best-in-industry SLAs to gain your confidence and trust in using OCI. At this point, I'll turn this over to Max to cover performance. Thank you.
Thanks, Cameron. So we will run a quick poll here, and I will continue with the presentation and give you some update about the new advances that we are delivering with the highest performing cloud storage on the market. So let's start with the flexibility and performance aspect of our services. On the block volume service, we are excited to announce that you will soon have an ultra high performance capability from us that will enable block volumes up to 300,000 IOPS per volume. This is going to be industry leading, basically surpassing all our competition in this area. We are extending the flexible and simple block storage performance slider with this new enablement. We basically give seamless additional options beyond the existing lower cost balance and higher performance choices for you. So, and then this is going to be, again, covered by our industry-leading price performance and the performance SLA, which is unique, again, among the cloud providers. No other cloud providers provides a performance SLA. And with this super high scale performance, we will still cover the same SLA that we already covered. You will still use and pay for additional performance only when you need, and scale down when not needed. And I'll show a quick demo about this one in a minute or two. So, and some example scenarios cover like the seasonal traffic, for example, for our retail customers. They can see jump in the traffic up to about 200% or even more. So they can handle the spike by temporarily adjusting their performance of their volumes and pay only during those times. The rest of the year, they can actually just take advantage of the lower cost that we provide. Another example is the CI/CD pipeline. During the intensive build and deployment cycles, you can temporarily increase the performance to higher performance and ultra high performance options, and then scale down as you don't need it. So let me show you a quick demo about this and how this is going to work. Some of the stuff that I will show you here is preliminary, but just to give you an idea how this works. So here I have a 2 terabyte volume that is set to the higher performance option. So here I have the higher performance and VPU set to 20. VPU indicates volume performance units. So you basically pay based on each VPU number per gigabyte. Here I have an instance and it is actually attached, this volume attached to that instance as Oracle VDB device over here. And let's edit, actually first run on the right hand side here. an FIO command. This is our industry benchmark tool that is used by us and Gartner and other, others. So it shows you here, and one thing I'd like to highlight, between read and write on the right-hand side here, this is an actual running application, FIO. So basically you see 17,000 plus 17,000, about 35,000 IOPS here, which the higher performance gives. Let's change to the ultra high performance here. I'm showing 70 here, but when we release this, it's going to show 120. So when you move to the highest scale here and then save the changes, you will see the change take effect instantaneously. So here, when I changed it, even though the volume shows provisioning, the change took already effect here. There's no impact to the running application. Treat this FIO as your running database, for example, or your application, web tier application that uses this block volume. It doesn't see any kind of impact as it is running. So there is no impact to the application and changes instantaneous. The beauty of it is that I can do it again. So I don't have to wait like hours and stuff like in some of our competition. I can change to, let's say, to a different ultra high performance layer. It shows 40. Again, it's going to be slightly different when we GA this and generally announce this and this feature. In this case, when I scale down, I'm saying about 80,000 reads and 80,000 writes here on the right-hand side. So as you see, the change already took effect. I'm taking advantage of smaller, a bit less performance with a bit less cost. So under 60,000 total IOPS. Let's change back to higher performance. So you don't have to wait again, just change again to 20. This is our original performance that we started with, and it guarantees me 35,000 IOPS. So, and on the right-hand side, again, I'm seeing the effect change immediately. So I have 35,000 IOPS already there. Don't stop there. Let's go back again to 300,000 IOPS. So I can actually go up again to the high scale. And it gives me, again, back to 300,000 IOPS. This is going to be coming at very attractive price and performance advantage across all the providers. So be on the lookout when we announce this feature generally available within a few weeks. So. Now let's talk about cost. Mona is going to cover the cost aspect, something that we're doing recently on the cost area.
Hey, my name is Mona, and today I want to talk to you about managing storage costs in the most efficient and smart way. Our customers strive to reduce their operational expenses, and we know that storage is a significant portion of that expense. But we're glad that we can help. In OCI, reducing storage expense and cost is something that we take seriously, and I will walk you through a new set of features that deliver on that promise. Let's start with the recent release, such as infrequent access tier by object storage. Now, with this feature available to you, you can store objects at a lower cost than standard tier while these objects remain available for an immediate access. What does it mean to you? It means that now the cost of storing your backup data is cut by half without impacting your RTO. So you don't have to make any compromises. Ways to enable infrequent access: either upload directly to infrequent access tier or use object lifecycle management to transition from standard to infrequent access tier, or manually update the storage tier. An interesting use case for it is, for instance, when staging data before it is used in an analytic pipeline, which usually involves changing data sets slightly for a higher layer of processing, where a single data set populates into multiple data lakes. Without object storage, having infrequent access tier, this would be very expensive. Next. We just announced object storage auto tiering. This feature enables moving objects between standard and lower cost infrequent tier automatically whenever these objects are not accessed frequently enough. So what does it mean to you? It means automatic cost saving based on your access patterns. Again, it's fully integrated with object lifecycle management and versioning, no operational overhead to your business, and there is no cost for using this feature. So why not benefiting from it? Let's take a moment here and look at the next slide for cost comparison given these choices that we discussed. In this example, let's assume you are backing up 1 terabyte of data every month. If using only object storage standard tier, this would cost you roughly $1,600 over the course of a year. But auto tiering with object simply drop your cost, as you can see here, by 50%, which is just fantastic. Continuing to the next slide, with reducing the storage cost, which is the theme I'm focusing in this section of the presentation, the clone feature in file storage takes it to the next level. Not only clone is very specific to OCI, we know that AWS and Azure don't offer clone capability for their storage services, but also creating clones are instantaneous, which means optimizing further on your operational costs. Cloning file storage is copy and write for data. So you're saving capacity when data is shared between the clone and its parent. This feature is also a complement to clone feature that Block offers as well, which is a deep disk-to-disk clone. And we know that clone feature is very much must-have for our enterprise customers when it comes to test and dev use cases. Lastly, you know that Block offers ways to tune the performance of your detached volume in order to reduce your storage costs automatically. So with this capability, while your volume stays in a detached state, you can achieve significant cost saving, but when reattached, the performance is restored to the previous setting immediately. With that said, I now pass it back to Max to share more on pricing comparison for Block with our competition.
Thank you, Mona. So I'd like to highlight some price advantage with OCI versus AWS here. So I'm giving an example here, one volume, 1 terabyte size and 1 year period. And you're actually using 16,000 IOPS, let's say, out of this volume. It's a medium performance volume. So Oracle standard tier of Block volumes, which is balanced tier, gives you this performance, actually a bit higher at 25,000 IOPS, guaranteed at a total cost of $510. When you take a look at AWS, their economy tier of Block storage, which is GP3, costs you $1,740 for the same performance and same storage amount. And here, we're also assuming generously that they included the 125 megabytes per second of throughput that AWS provides will be enough for your needs. And if you need more, you need to pay for it with AWS, not with Oracle, not with OCI. Oracle already includes the throughput in our per gigabyte costs. So when you actually provision the volume, you are guaranteed to get this performance for both IOPS and throughput and sub-millisecond latencies. In this case, you are saving over 70% with Oracle over AWS, or in other words, 3.4 times less costs in OCI than AWS. A more realistic example for a medium-sized or mid to medium-sized organization might involve 100 volumes and 1 terabyte each, let's say, and you're again looking into a yearly cost for this. And you're assuming that this is a higher performance option, so you need 35,000 IOPS per volume. So with the Oracle higher performance tier, you're actually getting this performance, and you're paying basically the storage cost for it and the associated, the higher performance VPU cost. And the total for you is 71,000 here. On AWS, then you need to actually bump up to either IO1 or IO2 because GP3 doesn't actually cut it for you. So you need to actually go to get 35,000 IOPS per volume. You need to move to a different tier in AWS. So with that, basically you are going into the provision IOPS land, which means for each and every IOP, you are paying extra dollars for it. So in this case, Oracle saves you about $2.7 million. So that equates to 97% savings over AWS and 39 times less cost than AWS. It's not percentage we're talking here. We're talking about 39 times the savings. And in case the reason doesn't jump at you, I highlighted here for you. So the IOPS, because per each IOP, you are actually paying 6.5 cents in AWS IO2. When you take a look at our cost here, so you are paying the total cost, including the storage plus the performance, is less than a single IOPS cost at AWS. So that actually equates to this major or significant amount of savings that you observe with OCI. Let me walk you through some other exciting capabilities that we are enabling in disaster recovery scenarios. So again, you need to keep your business resilient by recovering when the unexpected happens. And we have a rich set of features and available abilities that we enable in our platform, built into our platform. So let's start with object storage. As Mona also mentioned, we have this infrequent access tier recently got announced yesterday. It gives you immediate access to stored objects while reducing costs versus the standard tier. And it provides the same 11 nines durability and 3 nines availability that object storage provides. So that's one thing that you can leverage. Another one, which I call out as differentiators here, you have basically on the block volume side, we recently announced scheduled policy-based automated volume group backups, both in region and across the regions. That gives you a time and crash consistent backup, basically, for all the volumes in your volume group. So you can group all your volumes in your application stack, for example, including the boot volumes, block volumes, and the data and everything that you use for the application tier. And that basically gives you ability to manage it as a unity. So you can actually just perform a backup on it using the scheduled backup policies. And optionally copy those volume backups across regions of your choice. So, and you only pay for regular backup storage, wherever it is stored in the source region and destination region combined total. And also any network transfer costs associated with transferring those backups across the different region. Block Volumes also announced a new exciting feature. Again, in some providers provide this, but some don't. So cross-region asynchronous block volume replication. This is at the volume level. You don't actually rely on the backups necessarily. So it enhances and augments RDR options. It gives you ability to directly replicate the volumes asynchronously across the regions without requiring backups. With this initial release, we enable 1 hour RPO and less than a minute RTO. So you can actually just activate your volume less than a minute and start using it. In fact, I have a demo right after this. I'll show you this with a couple of clicks and a couple of minutes. You can actually replicate from one region to the other and start using the volume. And you can see the content automatically populated for it. Again, we don't charge extra for it, for this capability. You only pay for the extra storage costs associated and any network transfer costs associated to keep the replicas up to date. And the storage cost that you pay on the destination region is based on our lower cost option. So you actually save, you don't actually pay the original performance that you have on the source side. You can actually have the replica stored at the lower cost option, just pay for the storage, no performance. And when you try to use it, only at that time you have an option to actually enable any performance option that you like. And like I show you prior to this in the other demo, you can dynamically change performance anytime you like also. So with that, let me show you a demo. Here, to give you an idea what I will show, basically I have a block volume that is attached to a compute instance in a Toronto region. And I'm going to replicate this block volume. It has some content in it. It's a file I'll show you. And that content will be automatically replicated to a Montreal region. And I will enable that with a couple of clicks on the console. And then when it happens, and I will show you, I'll mount that file system on the destination region, attached to the compute instance and mount to the file system. And I'll show you the content automatically got there already. And while I'm doing this, the replication will still continue happening. And I can activate the replica volume again at a later time if I want to. So replication never stops until you confirm to stop it yourself. So you keep on getting all the updates from the source volume to the destination volume, and the replication is continuous. So let's take a look at this quickly here. Here I have Toronto region again. I have a volume here, a 50 gigabyte volume. It is cross-region replication currently off, and it has a demo FS Toronto file system in there. And I have this here, the device, DDAF linked to SDK. So let's go and enable the cross-region replication. I choose Montreal, give a name for the replication volume. I confirm the network transfer cost. I'm okay with it. And then it enabled my cross-region replication for me. Let's take a look at the content of that file system on the source region. So it has a file that contains hello from Toronto. Let's go to the Montreal region and take a look at the replica volume. Here, the replica volume was already there, available for me, which means now I can activate from the replica volume. The activation gives me a clone out of this replica at the point in time that I'm activating this clone, the replica volume. So Montreal activated volume, I give a name. I go to the compute instance. It's already enabled for me within a couple seconds. And then I go to the compute instance and attach that volume to that compute instance. I gave a device path, the VDC in this case, and default performance set to balance for me. I can change it if I want to. I could have changed it while I'm creating or after the fact, either way. And here I come to the Montreal compute instance. And I see that my volume is already mounted, and there's already SDB or map to the VDC, Oracle VDC device path. I make a directory called DemoFS Montreal, mount it, and then I see my file already replicated there. So I have basically this Toronto file got replicated and telling me hello from Toronto in Montreal. So this is a very powerful feature. As you see, it happens very quickly with a couple clicks to enable it. And the replication is seamless. So a couple things I'd like to highlight here is that, again, the replication continues to happen. It never stops. And I can activate again, giving me yet another volume as a point in time that I activate this new volume on the source region. And if I want to stop the replication, I stop it on the source region. I go and disable the replication and it stops happening. Let's look to the future a bit here. So looking into the future, we have a couple of exciting capabilities coming up as well. As Cameron mentioned in the beginning, we have data transfer appliance that enables or makes it a bit seamless for some of our customers to ingest data in OCI. You can have up to 150 terabyte per appliance. And if you have more data than this, you can use multiple appliances per data transfer if necessary. And there's no cost for transferring the data using the DTA. And we currently enable a large set of regions already. And we are expanding this also fast, very, very soon, including India, Brazil, and South Korea regions, and any more coming up soon. Mona will talk about the ZFS storage in the OCI marketplace.
Our customer historically loves ZFS, and for good reason. ZFS is very feature-rich and gives you multi-protocol support, such as support for SMB for Windows workload, and also for NFS version 4. Soon, we are going to enable more lift and shift to OCI by offering the ZFS image free of charge on OCI Marketplace, where you can leverage from both OCI block volume and OCI compute resources to benefit from this option as well. We believe in choices, so we give you more options to meet you where you are and to unblock your migration to OCI. Please stay tuned for more information on this coming soon.
Thank you, Mona. So, as a summary, we actually covered a lot of bases here. I know it's pretty condensed. So please take a look at all those features that we announced. So across block volume, file storage, and object storage. And most of them are related to the flexibility and high performance, simplicity and cost, and resilience for DR and business continuity. And let us know if you have any questions about any of these things. And as a summary, we provide you a better cloud that is easier to use and own. So that enables basically cloud lift migration services included for free for all enterprise workloads. We provide you very generous universal credits and common currency across application infrastructure, and third-party services. So you don't have to worry about bucketizing your expenses from certain areas. It's actually universal credits you can use anywhere. And we also provide you very advantageous licensing programs to bring Oracle IP to the cloud at lower costs, including the support credit programs. And as I mentioned, also including our performance SLAs, we provide you end-to-end SLAs that cover availability, management, and also the performance of our services. With that, we thank you for your participation. Again, feel free to reach out to me and Mona directly. This is our email addresses here. And we are looking forward to hearing from you and your feedback about our services. Thank you.
All right, so I think that is it for their presentation. So we'll actually accept any questions that you guys have and go into a Q&A section.
Mary, I think I'm going to answer some of questions verbally here. I see a couple of questions, I think 4 left here that I see. Mona, do you mind reading them for us, or?
Sure. So let's start with the first one. That can you share the OCI command that you basically typed as part of your demo?
Oh, definitely. It's actually available on our public web pages. So if you go and I can share later, but it's available on our performance page. If you look for the Oracle block volume service and under performance, you're going to see the FIO command and iSCSI based on instance. You can just log into an instance and run the FIO command that I showed you. Not only that, we also show you 3 different command types. So one of them specific for IOPS. So you can actually see the IOPS performance specifically. And the other one is throughput, because for throughput, you need a different block size. So you need a different, instead of 4K block size, you need to use 256K or larger block sizes, so you can push more throughput through the instance. And another one is the latency. So you can run specific latency measuring FIO commands, and we list them all on our website. If you don't see them, let me know, and I'll provide to you.
Thank you. Next question. Can we change the IOPS programmatically?
Definitely. So you can change it like I showed you in the console, but also our APIs, CLI, SDK, and Terraform also. So we provide all user interfaces for it. So you can actually enable it anywhere. And it's available currently. And as I mentioned, UHP or ultra high performance will basically extend the range for you. So you not only just lower cost, balance, and higher perf, but you'll also have different VPU options that you can actually set.
And what is the max latency for cross-region replication?
For the replication, we actually have every 15 minutes, we actually take we do an update every 15 minutes from one source region to the other one. Initially, when we released this feature, because of scale concerns, and we didn't, and multi-tenancies, and some customers might use more volume updates than the others, we want to be conservative, and we enabled 1 hour RPO for this. But in practice, it depends also on your change rate on the volume. So if your change rate is small, like I showed you in the demo, a small file here and there changes every once in a while, that's fine. It will probably be completing even sooner than 1 hour. So it'll be probably 15 minutes or so. But if your change rate is high, let's say you have an application that has lots of throughput and lots of write operations, modifies the data constantly, then it might take a while to catch up. So that's the reason we actually set the initial RPO goal as a 1 hour. But it will definitely, this is an area we are keeping an eye on. And then our goal is to reduce it as minimal as we can.
Okay, for the next one. So there is a question about the pain with policy-based backup. If you mean to object, that's a longer-term roadmap. But if you mean like creating snapshots automatically, that's something we're working on. So thanks for that feedback.
We had another question.
Yeah, is block volume replication between AD and option? I think that's something that's coming up soon, right, Max?
Yes, definitely. This is one, but we had to do some scoping. Initially, we had to enable across the regions because of DR reasons, but AD is coming up very soon. Yeah.
I see no further question.
I hope this has been useful and informative, and please reach out to us if you have any other questions. We're always here to help, and look forward to your feedback on how we can always improve. Thank you, Mona and Max, for sharing and doing real demos. I appreciate it.